It's time for Braves baseball, and what a great night here at Turner Field. It's John Smoltz bobblehead night, and just a few moments ago, John was paraded around the ballpark, a standing ovation as the Atlanta Braves celebrate his induction into Major League Baseball's Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Hi again, friends. Joe and Chip, welcome to the ballpark. What a great speech by John Smoltz, and what a wonderful cap to what I'm sure has been an incredible 2 weeks in his life.
First ballot Hall of Famer, you know.
Yep.
That doesn't come along every day. So congratulations to John. John, great that they had the plaque here and all the fans here could feel a part of it.
And John's going to come up and talk about his emotional ride today a little bit later on during the broadcast. And we do have a good ball game tonight. The hot-hitting Arizona Diamondbacks come to Atlanta to face Julio Teheran, who's been on a roll at home all year, and Joe has pitched real well the last 2 times.
His last 2 starts have been very Julio Teheran-like. He beat the Phillies up in Philadelphia, and he beat the Miami Marlins here in Atlanta. He's been on fire because he's been more aggressive. That hard slider's been sharp to the back foot of left-handed hitters. So Julio looks like himself again. Can't wait to see him make it 3 in a row.
You bet. That'd be a great way to cap John Smoltz's special night. Here's the recent success for Julio Teheran. Good luck against the Diamondbacks. He'll need it. The D-backs are swinging the bats like madmen. Hopefully Julio can calm them down tonight. Robbie Ray gets the ball for the Snakes. We've got Game 1 of the series. Starting lineups and first pitch on a special night in Atlanta comes your way right after this.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. AT&T Uverse, Delta Airlines, and your local Ford dealer.
Back in Atlanta, just about set for baseball. The red-hot hitting Arizona Diamondbacks are in town for the first of 3 here at Turner Field. Their Academy Sports and Outdoors starting lineup is a ferocious one. The Diamondbacks have 63 hits and have scored 36 runs in their last 4 games. Ender Inciarte leads off. You've got to worry about Pollock, Goldschmidt, and Peralta. Castillo, who's come over from Seattle, has been a revelation behind the plate. Wellington is a red-hot hitter. with 8 homers in his last 13 games. Nick Ahmed is the shortstop, a former Brave. Robbie Ray the pitcher, and into this fight comes Julio Teheran, the Braves' right-handed pitcher.
Well, you know what? The Snakes got it cut out for them tonight, too.
There you go.
This guy's on a roll. He's been pitching great his last 2 outings. His numbers this year, his opponent's batting average against, those numbers with runners on base have got to get a little better, and they have been. They've been coming down over his last couple of starts because he's able to pitch out of jams now that he's been more aggressive and throwing harder with his slider, dropping that hard slider on left-hander's back foot. But they've got, in my opinion right now, the guy, if the season ended today, Paul Goldschmidt, be the MVP. He's been amazing this year.
And we'll talk about Goldschmidt, who's due up third here in the top of the first inning. That's after Inciarte and A.J. Pollock bat against Teheran here in the first inning. Ender Inciarte at .297, 3 homers, 29 runs batted in. And the first of the night is off the plate, and we're underway. .85 degrees at first pitch. Ball 2. Inciarte, a tough man to walk. 354 at bats. He's only walked 10 times this year. And there's the first strike of the night. Extra rest for Julio Teheran. He last pitched 7 days ago. That was against the Marlins. 3 runs in 6 2/3 innings. He's gone 3-1 to the Arizona leadoff man. That's A.J. Pollock. This is Ender Inciarte, and the 3-1 pitch is at the knees, full count. And he lost him. Leadoff walk for Ender Inciarte.
Well, what a coincidence. Time for his 4 keys to pitching success. He just threw his 3rd best pitch there, 3-2, and walked the guy. And the first key tonight, walks and homers. He's been doing a great job of cutting down on both. His last 2 starts, only 1 walk, no home runs. Where he had been in the top 5 in the league in walks, he has cut down on those and returned a stopper. He was the ace of the staff to start this season. The Braves have lost 3 in a row. He needs to be that guy and be the stopper tonight.
Now he's in the toughest part of the Arizona lineup, A.J. Pollock. And that's a strike. 0-1. Pollock, 12 homers, 49 knocked in, 14 hits in his last 8 games. And Pollock had a very good series against the Braves out at Chase Field in Phoenix. 5 hits, 2 of them homers.
Out one into the pool to the opposite field.
Runner goes, and it's out of play, foul. It's quickly 0-2.
This team is 3rd in the league in average, 1st in runs, 7th in homers. They're 1st in sacrifice flies. That tells you they're on base a lot. They are 6th in walks, 2nd in on base percentage. And as you saw Inciarte running, they are 2nd in stolen bases. Very, very offensive minded.
No balls, 2 strikes for A.J. Pollock. Inciarte is back at first. Yeah, there are some who say that Arizona, with any pitching at all, could be toe-to-toe with the Giants and the Dodgers in the National League West. That, however, has been the Arizona Achilles heel. They've had injuries in rotation. They start play tonight with only the 11th best National League ERA as a club. No balls, 2 strikes. Breaking ball hammered to third, caught, no throw to first. A bullet speared by Adonis Garcia, who's played well at the hot corner. 1 on, 1 out.
Looked like a high breaking ball he got away with, thanks to the glove work of Adonis. Yikes.
Don't throw a pitch like that to the man coming up next. More often than not, Paul Goldschmidt hits it a long way. He's the league leading hitter at 341. He also leads with 83 RBIs. And a strike to the Arizona first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt.
And what you got to love about this guy is that he's not just a slugger. That batting average would tell you that, and he uses the whole field.
He's never had a hit against Julio Teheran. He's 0 for 9. Goldschmidt under contract through the 2019 season for the Diamondbacks, but Dave Stewart was talking in the Arizona papers today about his desire to make Goldschmidt a Diamondback for life. They may try to restructure his deal, add years and add dollars. You can understand why with the year he's having. And I think, Joe, maybe one of the most unheralded stars in the National League, if not all of Major League Baseball.
Absolutely, 100%. For a guy to do what he's doing and be such a good first baseman too, he gets zero publicity.
1 ball, 1 strike for Paul Goldschmidt. And Ciarte with 11 steals on the year. Arizona 1 away from 100 as a team. Teheran hoping to avoid first inning troubles. The pitch. It's low.
Good pitch.
Paul Schreiber has the plate tonight in game 1. Was this a strike?
Looked like it was a little low by the time it crossed the plate.
Popped up out of play, and the count now 2-2.
He was not a high draft pick out of Texas State University. I think it was a 12th round. 8th round, beg your pardon.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And way high, it's 3-2.
He also leads the league in intentional walks. That would not be the case here, although they're trying not to give him anything good to hit. The Braves leader in intentional walks is Nick Markakis. He has 5. Paul Goldschmidt has 24.
Leadoff walk to Inciarte, who almost never earns a walk. Pollock lined out to third. Now a payoff pitch. Runner goes. It's cut on and missed. Throw to second is going to be on the money. Strike him out, throw him out, double play. And that totally changes the inning. It ends the inning. Arizona fails to score in the first. A.J. Pierzynski with a strike erases Inciarte. And the Braves are coming up against Robbie Ray in a scoreless first inning. Great time tonight. Exciting start to the first inning. Let's see what the Braves have in store as Jace Peterson leads off the Academy Sports starting nine. Maben, Markakis, Gomes, Przinsky in there with a lefty on the mound. Garcia at third. Swisher, Simmons, Teheran, and Robbie Ray, the pride of Brentwood, Tennessee, is on the hill for the D-backs.
Kind of like Julio Teheran in their home road splits, only in reverse. Robbie's pitched a little better on the road, as his ERA would indicate, and a very low batting average against. Good fastball in the low to mid 90s, but it's pretty straight. Slider and a changeup. Out of the University of Arkansas, originally a Washington National draft choice.
And Jace Peterson leads off for Atlanta and takes a little bit low. Braves are fortunate that with all the left-handed bats they have in the lineup, their lefty hitters fare well against left-handed pitchers. There's a strike. 1-1 your count. As a team, Atlanta hitting just .231 against lefties. And that's too far inside. 2-1. Markakis, a .283 hitter. Przinsky, .237. Not great, but certainly respectable. It gives you a good at bat. Jace Peterson would like to improve on a .218 mark as he starts things off tonight. And a high hopper hit toward the left side. Jake Lamb's got it. Throw to first in time. And there's out number one. They like Lamb a lot. Good looking young player. Minor league player of the year for Arizona last season. They also have a youngster named Yasmani Tomas, who's 24 years old. We saw him in Arizona play some third base and the outfield. Talking to the Arizona people before the game, they think Tomas may be better suited as an outfielder, and they really have a four-man outfield rotation. Tonight, Tomas gets the night off. Here's Maben. And Cameron takes a strike.
We've heard a lot about Lamb, but we didn't see him in the series at the beginning of June because of the DL stint. So anxious to see him play.
That's something else we haven't talked about the Arizona club either. This is a very good defensive team.
Yeah. Second in the league. They've only made 54 errors as a team.
So despite a losing record at 56 and 57, there's a lot to like for this Arizona club. They can get some arms. They're going to be tough to beat. That's taken low. 3 balls and a strike. Markakis is next. Full count for Cameron.
PNC Bank Fox track shows it just about a perfect pitch down and in. This guy's motion is about as simple as it gets. He gets his sign, turns, kicks, and throws pretty hard from that short arm delivery. Might be a little hard to pick up.
That last pitch was 95 miles an hour. I had no idea that Ray was in the mid 90s.
My scouting report was 92 to 95.
6'2", 195 pounds. And that's into the seats. 12th round pick by the Nationals. Traded to the Tigers with Ian Kroll and Steve Lombardozzi for Doug Fister. Then was traded to the Diamondbacks for Didi Gregorius. And Maben takes a walk. He's aboard with 1 out. Here's Markakis.
Ray's recent games have been a little bit troubling for him. His last 5 starts, he's 0-3 with just under a 5 ERA.
Early runs are always appreciated for a Brave starter. Let's see if Markakis can chase Maben home. Nick at .301 for the year, 42 RBIs. That's outside, ball one. Nick's got a nice streak working, 19 of 21 games with a hit. A .360 average in that stretch. And he enjoyed his trip to the desert. He was 7 for 14 against the Diamondbacks in a series that was played June 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
One of the things that I've noticed about Nick against left-handers that I really admire is how he's able to wait. He does not, or I should say he rarely gets out on that front foot and jumps at the ball. He lets the ball travel very deep into the zone.
This series features 3 of the top 4 leaders in the hits column in National League play. Markakis 4th on that list with 131 of them. And that's taken high, and Wellington Castillo's out for a chat. 2 balls, no strikes.
Ray's last start came against the Reds, and he was credited with a quality start. He went 6 innings and only gave up 3 runs, but he got beat 4-1. Walked 1 that particular game and struck out 8.
Maven has a big lead. Not going. And low to Markakis. 3 balls, no strikes. Johnny Gomes is the Braves cleanup man tonight. He's on deck. Nick made him throw a strike. Foul back our way. It's a full count. Runner goes, and Markakis sprays one to the left. It's headed for the club level. And we'll do it again.
Yeah, you're right, Chip. If the Diamondbacks had any starting pitching to go with this offense, they'd be giving the Dodgers and the Giants fits. The bullpen's fine. Ziegler at the end of the game has been real good for them.
Another 3-2 pitch. And a shot toward Ahmed at short. Feed to second, one, and the throw to first in time. What a double play. That ball was hit like a rocket, but it ends the first inning. Big night tonight in Atlanta. John Smoltz is here, and he'll be joining us as we head to the top of the second inning in a scoreless ball game in Atlanta. John Smoltz bobblehead. They were lined up for miles to see that man ride in that car to make that speech in front of that plaque between the mound and home plate here at Turner Field. And here is the man of the hour, Hall of Famer John Smoltz. Congratulations on another great night.
I appreciate that. That'll never get old, by the way. Just whenever you get a chance to be honored like that in front of your home crowd, that never gets old.
I thought you were going to say never get old for Chip just to call you Hall of Famer John Smoltz from now on.
No.
And I'm remiss. I should have said first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, no, that probably won't get old either. But that was special to have the crowd and just the Braves recognize, the accomplishments. But it just seemed like yesterday. It really did. It was standing out there close to that mound.
That is so funny you say that, because we're watching that video on the board, and I don't know which event it was. If it was your 3,000th strikeout and you're standing out somewhere in front of the dugout waving your hat, and I wondered if at that time you realize how fleeting that moment is.
Yeah, to be honest with you, Joe, I didn't know if I could make 2 more starts. So when that moment came, it was like I didn't know how to react, because I wanted to get 2 more strikeouts, and I wasn't thinking about the number. They told me about it, but deep down I'm like, if you only knew. I'm trying to get through the year. And when it happened, it was such a time capsule of, okay, this could very much be it. I've played long enough to achieve certain numbers that are thought of as great numbers, but man, I'm trying to get through this game. I'm trying to get through this year, and I want to finish as strong as you can. And I just knew I wasn't in the strongest point of my career. So, but it does seem like yesterday that this field and across the street, love this field.
Yeah, you did.
The street was a little more tough, but I love this place. And just the past weekend and everything we talked about, it's just been a neat week.
2 balls, 2 strikes to David Peralta, the cleanup man for the Diamondbacks. We all know the numbers, John. 200+ wins, 3,000+ strikeouts, 150+ saves. As the guy that racked up those numbers, which one are you most proud of?
That's a great question, because I am proud of them all. Not to have a safe answer, but I think the 55 saves. That was so unexpected. I've always believed in myself. I thought I could do a lot of things that no one thought was possible, but that's not one of them. Not in your first year. And it didn't ultimately end up in a championship, but man, it would have been fun to close out 11 games in the postseason.
That would have been
nice. That would have been just. That's why I embraced that role, knowing that I could actually impact the games a little bit more frequently. The 3,000 strikeouts is longevity. It's 5 years of not starting. It's not something that I ever set out to do, like strike out as many guys as I could in a game. They just came, which, by the way, was the hardest. The 2 strikeouts that game was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, because everyone was anticipating it, and I never went in there thinking about, when I get 2 strikes, I'm going to strike them out. And it wasn't happening quick, and the fans kept standing up with 2 strikes. So when it happened, it was such a relief. I remember shaking McCann's hand and then giving Chipper, and I really wanted the game to go back, and it stopped in time for a while. But as I said today in the speech, I had a blast even in the midst of some of the most tough conditions to pitch through and go through. I really did have a blast wearing this uniform.
I was watching that again, watching the video. Was your first start against the Mets?
It was in Shea Stadium.
They showed, I think, some video from that game, and one thing that surprised me, early in your career, your motion was different. You didn't take your hands above your head. How did that start and change?
I was constantly always trying to perfect my mechanics. Interesting enough, today I got a chance to spend some time in the bullpen with a couple of the pitchers talking about that very thing. You never get it. You never master it. And whatever phase you go through, you work through your checkpoints. And I thank Leo for one thing. He simplified my mechanics when I came over here, because I was a mess from Detroit. I was like, man, I thought I had a good mechanics. I thought I was a good pitcher, and it certainly wasn't going that direction. But yeah, I varied on whatever felt comfortable. And got a chance to change my arm angle a few times too. So I wasn't opposed to change or trying things, whatever it took to compete at the highest level. That's what I wanted to do.
Let's touch back on what you just said a moment ago. We have some video of you working in the bullpen with the Braves. Was that something that you suggested to Roger? Did Roger ask you to do it? And how receptive were the guys to what you were trying to tell them down there?
They were great. Roger asked me, whenever I could to come down in my schedule, and I got a chance to go down there. And look, they're all under 24 or 25 years old, and they've been given. And I think it's a curse today in the fact that we expect so much out of Julio Teheran. We expect so much when. In 1991, about the same spot that Julio is, Glad was 8 games under 500. I was under 500. Avery was under 500. We got a chance to get our brains beat in and learn. Mm-hmm. Well, this is the first time he's really struggled, right? I mean, right. And people are quick to say, "Uh-oh, what's going on?" This is normal. Nobody's come in the game, with maybe the exception of Kershaw and some of the youngs. They just don't dominate every single year. So that was neat to just give them a perspective of what they're dealing with, the max effort kind of stuff that we all come to love, but yet know there's a downside to that, and teaching them some of the fundamentals that really that work that they do in the bullpen will be the greatest work they do all year. And these next 5 to 7 or whatever starts they have.
Jake Lamb rips one into the gap in right center field. That ball jumped. That's up against the fence, and Lamb has a 2-out double for the Diamondbacks. His 10th two-base hit, John.
I know this year has not gone the way Braves fans and even the team wants, but the next few starts of this season will teach these young guys more than anything they've ever gone through, because they've got a chance now to find out what kind of pitcher they can be, and being able to give them some of those tips that we learned was hopefully invaluable for them, but refreshing to see them really want to take that in and ask questions and really, I'm just passing on what I had learned from some of the people that taught me.
Did you ever think 25 years ago John Smoltz is going to be the Yoda for a young pitching staff?
No.
In Atlanta?
But you know what? In all honesty, as much fun as I had, I was always down there. And I was always intrigued with mechanics. I watched Maddox and Glavine. I was always trying to figure out how you get your body to do certain things. So, in a weird way, as much as I would like to get back in the game and be part of that, I realized that the game has passed me by a little bit with theories and philosophies, and it would be like full time. But any chance I get to help a young pitcher, I'll never forget Oral Hershiser coming to me in his heyday. I'm a rookie, and giving me what seemed like a lifetime, but 5 minutes of his time. He didn't have to, just encouraging me. Everything's going to be all right. You got a good arm, and just being able to pass that on is a blessing.
You talked about going down to watch Tom and Greg throw in the bullpen, and this may not be the best time to bring this up, and I'm hoping you'll stay at least another half inning, if not as long as you want tonight. But you had trouble with the changeup.
Yes.
What was the problem? Why couldn't you throw the circle change like they did?
It's funny. I could change arm angles and feel the ball come out of my hand, but I couldn't throw the pitch slow enough. You show me a grip and I could throw it 88. 87. It was like,
didn't matter.
It didn't matter. I mean, I tried everything known, and they were the two best on opposite arms. I mean, you couldn't have a better two guys to teach you the greatest changeup in the game. And so it wasn't a lack of effort. It was out there grinding it. And there was a couple times in the game, I would smile when I threw one. Like it was the greatest joy I ever had, because I would go, take that. That's a changeup, but I could never throw it consistent enough. So I developed. It started as the Fosh ball, but then it turned into the split finger, and that really changed my career.
That's high to Owings. We know you threw the knuckleball a time or two, huh?
Threw the knuckleball. I can tell you I counted my strikeouts in the knuckleballs. And if you ever watch the replay of the World Series, besides me knowing I was headed for Tommy John, I'm yelling in my glove, and what I'm yelling is, "That's a knuckleball. Take that." Because
swing and a miss. Hey, Julio Teheran with a John Smoltz-like inning here in the second. He just struck out the side. John's going to stick with us for another half inning on his special night. We've got no score here in Atlanta. His bullpen, and look at all those young pitchers, like little ducklings.
I know I would have been.
It was pretty cool. It was hot. That's why you see me sneaking in the shade. But I was showing a drill right there about going over a brick wall, trying to hit a brick wall as you land. And too many guys, including myself, if that brick wall were there, we'd have a lot of bruises, because pitching is so finite with all the body movements you have to have. You got to work together, and there's so many strong pitchers that want to go through that brick wall, just kind of power their way through it. And Greg Maddux, nobody better in the history of the game. If you want to model a mechanic, that's as good as it gets. His head was still. He's always on plane, always in line with what he was trying to do, and he certainly redefined that.
I think that was one of the reasons he was such a good fielder. I mean,
yes,
he had good hands, but 100%. He won Gold Gloves because he was always in a great position to field.
Always. He never was off balance, and he could have thrown harder, but it wouldn't have been better. And my fear for the game, when we're on both Greg and Tom, is that we won't see that anymore. We won't see the art of pitching. I mean, Jamie Moyer, left-handed, pitched till he's 80 years old. That's done, right? That's never going to happen. But the art of pitching and setting up a hitter and just preying off their weakness, those guys were the best.
So I don't want to put words in your mouth. Are you saying that the radar gun has done a lot of damage to the game?
100%. It is going to be the single most undoing of our game in about 4 or 5 years, in my opinion. Now, where I'll be wrong is if the arms just keep coming and there's reinforcements left and right. I don't believe that's going to happen, because I think at some point the breakdown and the ability to stay on the field is going to, that has to exceed the great arm and 98, 99, 100-mile-an-hour arms. But baseball is a long journey, and you need pitchers to give you 200 innings. That's not going to happen much anymore.
Well, 10 years ago, when you'd look at a major league bullpen, you'd say, well, they've got one guy down there who throws 96.
Right.
Now, you've got one guy that throws 86. Everybody else is 95.
Right. And what happens, what they're not tracking yet, is everyone knows about the Tommy Johns for the starting pitchers. Watch the bullpens in the next couple of years. Watch how many Tommy Johns come out of there, because they're firing at a rate that just cannot sustain it. And the Kansas City Royals have been the model the last 2 years. And I say next year is a very dangerous year for that bullpen at the workload, especially if they go back to the playoffs and the World Series again. Think about our 14 years.
Right. All the extra games.
Extra innings.
And all the extra innings. And we didn't miss a beat. You know, we proved it. And nobody has come back to ask why or how. They love 95, 97.
So I'll ask why and how.
We trained for our sport. We didn't specialize for our sport. We didn't look the part all the time. We did the things you had to do to be successful. And the mindset was, we're pitching 250 innings. We're not going to max out. We're going to throw twice in between starts. We're going to stay fresh. And that works. That mindset would work today. I'm telling you right now, you give me a ball club and put me in charge of the rotation. As out of the box that I always am in thinking, I will go to a 4-man rotation and prove to you why it works. 4-man today. And they'll look at me like I got two heads. Because what's the difference of maxing out for 6 innings and going every 5 days, or just throttling it back and doing the same 6 or 7 innings at a reliever, which everybody wants, and train these guys to do what we've always seen baseball done 30 years ago, and pitch every 4 days? Because if you go every 4 days, you can't max out every single time. You won't make it to the end of the season. And so the game is going through a period where the radar gun, youth baseball, and all that's gone on has really changed the dynamics of how you build a club.
A.J. Brzezinski pulls one to Goldschmidt. He'll step on the bag. A low throw to second. And Gomes is out. Nice dig by Nick Ahmed. And that'll be a double play. 2 outs.
I saw Shelby Miller down there listening to you today. I think you guys have a lot of similarities in the way you work. Power arm, power breaking ball. What suggestions do you have for Shelby Miller?
The biggest thing that I saw is I'm trying to think of the best description. He's like a bulldog, man. He wants to get after it. And he has been, first of all, I got to compliment him. I don't know any other pitcher in the history of the game who go through what he's going through and feel like he's 20-5.
Yeah. That's up the middle. Nice play. Ahmed, he makes the play to first.
And John, you're going to have to stick around and finish that thought.
I
Is
will.
that all right with you?
I will.
I know
Absolutely.
the guys on radio are waiting for you, but we're going to keep it here. Scoreless game as we move to inning number 3. On Smoltz here in the booth in Atlanta as we head to the 3rd inning. Scoreless game. Pretty night. Big crowd. Bobblehead night. By the way, what do you think of the bobblehead?
It's outstanding. I just didn't know it was going to be a candy holder.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
looks like your arm at the
right
end
up
of your
my
career,
arm.
huh? Look at this thing. That thing's wrapped 7 ways till Sunday.
Oh, it's great. It's anytime stuff like this happens, you just pinch yourself. It's incredible. But to finish that thought, what you asked me about Shelby Miller, I tell all these guys that it takes, you just split the season into quadrants and work on one thing and try to improve on one thing. And the one thing that he has that a lot of guys don't have is that power arm, the ability to throw the ball down and bury it down. But what every pitcher is seeking to do is the consistency of areas. If you've got to dominate one side of the plate. If you can dominate one side of the plate, you can be mediocre on the other side. So finding where your strength is, and the two philosophies are: you're either an arm side guy, which means if a right-handed pitcher is up there and a right-handed hitter, you dominate the pitch away, or you're a glove side guy, you're dominating pitch away. If you're an arm side guy, usually the ball leaks into a right-hander. His front shoulder, which every pitcher's front shoulder is the key. It's like the gun's the sight for a gun, and when you can control the front shoulder and be quiet. Back to Greg Maddux, you're going to throw the ball 8 out of 10 times in that area. Now for Shelby, he can get away with most things. Is that 4 in a row?
No, but
it's number 5.
5 out of the last 6
hitters, but the last 5 out strikeouts. Yeah.
So that's basically mechanically what you try to learn, and then you bring it in. The biggest thing that I tell them, that bullpen is awesome. That's where you get work done. But then when you cross the line, it's gone. You just pitch. You don't think about anything else. The more you practice the bullpen, the easier it is going to cross the white line, and you'll just repeat those good habits.
Robbie Ray's the batter. He's the Arizona pitcher, and he's quickly down 2 strikes. So that's something that Braves fans, I think, have to be excited about, John, is the stable of young power arms they've put together. Miller's one of them, the man pitching here tomorrow night. Mike Foltynewicz is another one. As this ball's hit toward Garcia at 3rd. The long throw gets his man 2 outs.
If you guys need a quick game, just invite me anytime you want to come up here, because this is the second time now.
We may lock you in the locker behind the booth.
We had a 2-0-2 game the other night.
Yeah.
In Tampa Bay.
Well, there, I could see it there with the way they operate.
But walk through Mike Foltynewicz, who throws hard a lot like Shelby Miller, but from my vantage point, not nearly as polished yet.
Right. And we talked about quadrants. What I mean by quadrants, you've got to have different to a hitter. You've got to make a hitter respect something, but also fear something. And if it's up, down, in, and out, but change the speeds. And right now, the power, if it's all power all the time, the hitter's going to have the ability to lock in and make a mistake. But if you can throw a wrinkle or a changeup or something that gets the hitter off that, because he's got to respect that fastball.
Right.
And they're working on that. That command of that pitch is something that will just make them jump to the next level.
Well, I think that was something that plagued Julio for the first half of the season, really, literally up until about 2 weeks ago. He was trying to reinvent himself with a two-seamer and a sinker, and all of a sudden his velocity was way off, and he couldn't go back to his fastball and hard slider.
Yeah, and again, that's the perfectionism of every pitcher trying to get better, and they think this will take them the next. If I got this, I threw a two-seamer for 2 years in my first big league season, and nobody had the guts to tell me it didn't move. It was as straight as an arrow. And finally, I said, well, you know, because that's what was preached to me until, and they said, oh yeah, it's straight. Well, I don't want a straight 91-mile-an-hour fastball that's easier to hit.
3 balls and a strike to Inciarte, who takes a strike call. Full count. Well, what's next for you? What's your next MLB Network game? Where
I go to Chicago Tuesday. I've got the Cubs and the Tigers. The Cubs have been putting on an incredible show of late, as have the Blue Jays, and some great stories in baseball.
To third. Ball popped up. Garcia stayed with it. John, always a pleasure.
Have you been invited to the radio? Well, go ahead.
To the radio?
Yep.
I will go.
Yeah, I know Jim and Don want to talk to you about your special day and, of course, your Hall of Fame induction. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, you know. Number 1, John Smoltz.
Have a candy.
Gotta be fair.
Let's get to our AT&T Uvers trivia question. That's Paul Goldschmidt. Over the last 4 years, he's one of 3 players with 300 or more walks and 90 or more homers. Who are the other 2 players to do what Paul Goldschmidt has done? That's a real good trivia question tonight.
Somebody else with a very high on base percentage.
So Robbie Ray. He's got a couple of double play balls in his first 2 innings of work. He'll face Nick Swisher, who's 1 for 12 in a Braves uniform. And he delivers a strike. Pop fly, shallow right. Inciarte in fair ground. Makes the catch, and there's the first out of the inning. Good to have Andrelton Simmons back in the lineup. He got a day of rest in the finale of that series in Tampa Bay, and then with the off day yesterday, Andrelton's good to go tonight. And he's batting 8th on the lineup card for the Braves. Letter high strike. It's 0-1. John Smoltz mentioned the Cubs. They won today. They beat the White Sox at U.S. Cellular Field. 6-5 was the final.
Can you tell that John has a passion for pitching?
Yeah. Well, it was a great catch by our camera folks to see what was going on in the bullpen, and what I liked the best was how attentive the Braves pitchers were. You'd expect them to be, and what a blessing it is for the Braves organization to have Tom Glavine around, to have John Smoltz around. I mean, you've got 2 first ballot Hall of Fame guys that are asked by the pitching coach because of his respect for what they've done, and those 2 men's willingness to go down and work with these young pitchers and offer their advice, their opinions, and their help. I mean, that's really great to see. This ball's up the middle, and Simmons is back in the lineup with a hit. First of the night for the Braves.
Those guys were standing around John Smoltz like little leaguers would be if a big leaguer went to do a clinic at their local ballpark. That was what was good to see, and they are all major league pitchers. I mean, it's like the Pied Piper almost.
I mean, even the security guards listening.
Starters, relievers, catcher. A rare opportunity, and nobody wanted to miss out on it. That number 17 right there. He's the guy that has the most in common with him and should have been taking everything he heard to heart.
Here's Julio with a man aboard and 1 out. Julio's been a good bunter for the Braves this year. He got this one down. And that'll be another sacrifice. It's his 8th. Runner at second. 2 outs, and back to the top of the order we go. "5-4 is the scoring on the sacrifice. Simmons at second for Jace Peterson.
You know, Julio might be the best bunter on the team.
Jace's bat is heating up over the last 10 games. He's got 11 hits in that stretch. Seven RBIs in the last 10 games. The way Tehran's pitching. An early run might feel like 4 or 5 for this Arizona offense. And they are swinging hot bats. The pitch is a shot to the right field corner, and the Braves are going to score first. Simmons will stroll around third. Peterson around second, turns on the afterburners. He's headed for third. The throw there will be late. It's a 2-out triple, and 1-0 Atlanta. Fourth triple for Peterson, and his 2-out magic continues for the Braves.
Inside breaking ball. I don't know that they wanted it to hang up in there, but he started it in and it stayed in, and Jace just clobbered it. Big 2-out. RBI gives the Braves the lead, gives Julio the lead against a team that's been scoring a ton of runs. That's a big deal, scoring first against them.
19th 2-out RBI for Jace Peterson this year. Boy, those big. Another would be nice with 2 outs. Cameron Maybin hits. He walked his first time up. That's off the plate, even count. Cameron Maybin's been a very good hitter with 2 outs this year. Jace Peterson 90 feet away here in the bottom of the 3rd.
Yeah, Cameron's been among the league leaders all year long in this situation.
And Ray misfires high and away. 3 balls and a strike.
Line drive, right center field. That'll get down for an extra base hit. Peterson scores. Maybin's on his way to 3rd. And he'll make it with a slide. It's 2-0 Atlanta.
They were working him away. And Cameron was ready for that one on the outer 3rd. It was up 2. Split the gap. Inciarte was playing pretty shallow in right field, so he had a long way to go to get that baseball. Easy trip around for Cameron.
That's his second 3-base hit of the year. And that brings Mike Harkey to the mound. He's the Diamondbacks pitching coach.
Cameron and Jace Peterson now with 49 RBIs apiece. I believe that leads the team, doesn't it?
Let's see.
Yeah, it does. With Freddie Freeman on the disabled list for a couple of stints. The 2 guys at the top of the order leading the team in RBIs.
And speaking of Freddie Freeman, talked with Freddie Gonzalez before the game about his first baseman. He's down in Orlando. He is swinging the bat. He is playing minor league rehab games. He could be back with the ball club on the road trip in San Diego. So that would be a nice lift for Atlanta. Markakis hits, runner at 3rd, 2 outs, and ball 1 to Nick.
I remember John Hart telling us the date that he's eligible, and I want to say it was the 19th.
Somewhere like 16th, 19th, that general area. Cue shot foul. Nick Markakis, a .320 hitter this year with RISP. One ball, 1 strike. Missed corner.
He went on the disabled list August 4th, so 15 days from there.
There you go. This will be the 19th. That's high.
Braves had another personnel change though today.
Another new arm, Edwin Jackson. Remember him? Former Cub, well, former a lot of things. He has joined the club. He will pitch out of the bullpen. Edwin did nice work for the Cubs in relief. They turned him loose. And the native of Columbus, Georgia, now in the Atlanta pen. 3 balls and a strike. And a close pitch went the pitcher's way. 3-2. Off the knuckles, out of play, still a full count.
And that's what can happen sometimes. I was talking about how Nick lets the ball travel deep from left-handers. He waits and waits. That's kind of the end result sometimes, is fighting off that pitch and sending it foul.
Little number back to the mound. Ray has it, and And he throws a strike to first. Atlanta scores a couple of runs on a pair of 2-out triples. Peterson and Maben drive home the first runs of the night, and Julio Teheran has been staked to a 2-0 lead as we head to the fourth inning.
Young man, I had a chance to catch up with him in the locker room earlier today. He was all smiles because he grew up in Columbus, Georgia, making it to the big leagues when he was 19 years old. He was also very excited to work with pitching coach Roger McDowell. They have kept in touch over the years since their time with the Dodgers. And as good as Roger is, he made it a point to say, my best pitching coach is actually not my dad, but my mom, Regina. So shout out to Regina down in Columbus. He's excited to be back home and again on the Braves.
That's a great story, Paul. And you saw those numbers on that graphic. 2-1 with a 3.19 ERA out of the pen for the Cubs. He's got a good arm and throws hard.
So the acquisition of Edwin Jackson, our Toyota key play of the game tonight. And A.J. Pollock is going to lead things off here in the Arizona fourth. 2, 3, and 4 on the lineup card for Julio Teheran, who has pitched a dazzling game so far. He struck out 5 hitters. Pollock, a #1 pick back in 2009 for the Diamondbacks. He's got 133 hits this year and 16 games of 3 hits or more this year.
16?
Yeah. 1 ball, 2 strikes. I mean, how'd you like to face Arizona, home or road, doesn't matter. But with this trio of Pollock, Goldschmidt, and Peralta staring at you, as hot as they are, that is not an easy task. And Teheran has sliced through him the first time through the order.
Thought he sliced through the zone with that off-speed breaking ball.
That's popped up foul and out of play. It's 2-2. Great crowd here tonight. Friday nights are always well attended here in Atlanta with the John Smoltz festivities. The Diamondbacks in town. It's a big sports night in Atlanta. The Falcons are playing tonight too. Fly ball center, and Maben back a step or two. He's got it, and there's out #1. So Pollock's retired. Here comes Paul Goldschmidt. He's the subject of our Lowe's Never Stop Improving feature.
Now take a look at some of these ranks. You don't have to look too far down the list for Paul Goldschmidt in anything. Average, on base, RBI, hits and walks, first or second in all those categories. Oh, by the way, he's in the top 10 in stolen bases too. He's got 19 swipes.
When he gets his 20th steal, he'll be the 6th ever 20-20 man in the history of the Diamondbacks franchise.
And
popped up.
And he's made 2 errors at first.
Well, Goldschmidt, maybe he doesn't get a lot of press, but we understand that's just fine with him. He's a very quiet, unassuming guy. All he wants to do is play ball. But the rest of the league has taken notice. He's a 2-time All-Star. No balls, 2 strikes. And Julio just missed. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Again, an off-speed curveball. He didn't get the call. Second time. PNC Bank shows us a little off the plate.
Line to second, and Peterson's got that. 2 out.
That's what makes him so dangerous. As I said, his first at bat, he's not all or nothing. Behind in the count, he hits a rope the other way.
And here's David Peralta, former Cardinal farmhand. David Peralta was a pitcher. Then he hurt his arm. The Cardinals then made him an outfielder. Arizona signed him as a minor league free agent in 2013. We saw him last year when he first came up, and he torched the Braves in a series out in Phoenix. And he pops this ball up behind the plate, but no play for AJ. Strike 1 for David Peralta. $11 homers, 60 RBIs, and a .300 hitter. It's kind of funny. The Cardinals have converted a lot of guys. They've converted catchers to pitchers. Yeah. Peralta, they converted from a pitcher to an outfielder and couldn't keep him. And now he's starring in Arizona. And I would imagine that the fingerprints of Tony La Russa might have been all over David Peralta.
Could be. Well, one of the nice problems that Chip Hale has is that they've got 4 good outfielders that they're trying to rotate and get plenty of playing time for. And they're all hitting well. Inciarte's in there tonight, hitting .297. Peralta at .303. And Pollock, of course, at .312. They've also got Yasmani Tomas, the player they signed out of Cuba. He's hitting .303 with 7 homers.
Two pitch for Peralta. Just missed.
Didn't get the calls on the breaking ball. Should have gotten that one.
Julio's had a good fastball tonight. See if he goes in there again. He missed the outside corner. Peralta walks. And that is the second Tehran free pass of the night. What a find for Arizona Wellington Castillo has been. Remember, in early June, the D-backs were really bemoaning the loss of Tuffy Gosowicz. He was their #1 catcher. Gerald Laird, the real G Money, out with back surgery. So they had to search long and hard, and they found Wellington Castillo in Seattle. They traded Mark Trumbo for him. And Castillo has been a revelation for them behind the plate. This guy's hitting everything. 8 homers, 15 RBIs in his last 13 games.
Yeah, they thought that Gosowicz was their catcher of the future, and it may well be this guy instead going forward. They've still got Jared Saltalamacchia too.
He came over from the Marlins after a disappointing start in Miami. And a strike to Castillo. It's 0-2.
Julio's gone to some deep counts, but he's still been ahead in the count. It's taken him a pitch or two to polish guys off.
Up and in.
Wasn't that close?
2 balls, 2 strikes. That was the pitch a couple of starts ago that you thought was so effective for Julio Teheran.
Yeah, when he knocked Michael Franco down. That one was running up and in on him, but wasn't one of those scary ones. Franco's was right over the top of his helmet. 6 3-ball counts so far for Julio.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. 6 strikeouts for Teheran through 4 shutout innings. He enjoys an early lead.
Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
Braves fans, stop by the Braves Clubhouse store at the CNN Center between 12 and 1 tomorrow and get autographs from Johnny Gomes and Jace Peterson. Autographs are guaranteed to the first 250 fans to make a minimum donation of $40 to Troops Direct, a charity Johnny Gomes actively supports. We hope to see you there. And we hope to see Johnny Gomes with a good offensive night tonight as he starts the Braves 4th before a big crowd. Gomes walked and was erased in the front end of a double play in the 2nd inning. Braves touched Robbie Ray for 2 runs on 3 hits in the 3rd. Back-to-back 2-out triples. Plated the Atlanta runs tonight.
Last time the Braves had back-to-back triples were Justin Upton and Freddie Freeman in July of 2013 against Miami.
That caught a corner. Even count. Mets and Pirates are playing tonight in New York. That's Jay Happ and Bartolo Colon. The Mets have won 7 in a row at home, and they've just tied the Pirates 1-1. That game's in the 6th inning. The Nationals are out west tonight. They play in San Francisco. Nationals have lost 3 in a row and are suddenly 4.5 games out of first. Only 4 back though in the loss column. 1-2 pitch.
Yeah, they better not let the Mets get too far out in front with that staff the Mets have. You don't expect them to go on any extended losing streaks.
And the Mets offensively are, but obviously a different team with all their acquisitions. Cespedes, Ellie Johnson, Uribe, Conforto, and they look to be playing with a whole lot of confidence too.
Juan Uribe's playing great for them.
Tonight out west, it's Max Scherzer and Matt Cain at AT&T Park. Nationals have lost 10 of their last 14 games. 2-2 pitch to Gomes, popped up. Goldschmidt drifts back. It'll be the second baseman, Chris Owings, who makes the play, and that's the first out of the inning. Let's check out our Coors Light cold hard facts.
This has to do with some offensive improvement between July and August. The Rays and Mets have improved by 2 or better runs per game, and the Braves right in there at 1.8. But to speak to your discussion there about the Mets offense, Chip, they've certainly ramped it up with the new players they have.
I think it'll be fun to watch too as Przinsky leads off. A lot was made by the Mets about how they want to protect their young arms. There are supposedly innings limits of some sort for Harvey, DeGrom, and Syndergaard. How the Mets manage their workload in September, I think, will be a very fascinating thing to follow. They can't afford to shut those guys down, obviously.
When you work so hard to get there, and then you start talking about that, I don't get it. The whole object is to win and to get into the postseason. And the Nationals shut down Strasburg like, oh, well, we're going to be in the postseason every year. So what difference does it make if we shut him down this year? Well, they learned a cold, hard lesson. You would think the Mets would learn from that.
3-0 for AJ with 1 out in the inning. And he takes a walk on 4 pitches, and that'll bring up Adonis Garcia. Third walk for Ray. It's Chip Hale, the skipper of the Diamondbacks. 7th manager in the history of the Arizona franchise. No balls and a strike.
Sorry, Chip. 4 walks is his season high. That was in his 3rd start at Dodger Stadium.
And that's out of play. And it's quickly 0-2. Diamondbacks are 2 games under 500 in their division. And they're 3-9 against the Dodgers. They have a winning record against the Giants at 7-6. And there's a fly ball toward left. That's going to get down. It had some funky spin. And AJ stops at second. Garcia has a single, and there are 2 on with 1 out.
Do you think it was spin, or did Peralta lose it? He was coming in and the ball was to his left.
Let's take a look.
Came in, kind of stumbled, and then changed directions. Whatever the case was, Braves are in business.
And Nick Swisher is the batter. He flied out to right his first time up. Braves are 2 for 3 with men in scoring position already tonight. And a bounty grounding ball toward third. Lamb to second for one. Plenty of time for the Diamondbacks to complete the around the horn double play. Their third double play turned in the first 4 innings. Braves 2, Arizona nothing. We're off to the 5th. It's 2-0 Atlanta. We move to the top of the 5th inning. Braves fans chopping away as Julio Teheran is throwing a one-hitter at an Arizona ball club that came into this ball game hitting .400 as a team over their last 4 games with 63 hits in their previous 4 games. 15 or more hits in 4 straight. Last team with 15 or more hits in 5 consecutive games was the 1970 Dodgers.
15 or more, 4 straight games. That's pretty impressive.
Yes. So Teheran versus Jake Lamb, who doubled. He's got the lone Arizona hit. 1 ball, no strikes. Lamb out of the University of Washington. Top of the screen foul. It's now 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Wearing that shin guard for a reason. Might have saved him there.
That stayed high. It's now 2-2. Lots of deep counts for Teheran in the game. His pitch count at 77 through 4+ innings. He's got the 6, 7, 8 hitters coming up here in the 5th. And he just struck out Lamb. That's 7 strikeouts for Teheran. 1 up and 1 man down. Time for our Home Depot tools from the dugout. It features Atlanta starter tonight.
Yeah, I love this. The lowest home ERA over a 2-season stretch. Greg Maddux, 3 out of the top 4. Chris Medlin in there. And Julio Teheran last year and this year combined for a 2.27 ERA at the moment.
Owings tried to bunt and fouled it away. Owings from Braves country, went to Gilbert, South Carolina High School.
Whatever happened to that Maddox guy? That guy that had that home ERA. I love hearing John Smoltz talk about him and the reverence and respect he has for him and what he could do.
To center. Maven's on the run. I wanted to ask John, and I'll ask you because you played like John did. When you're in the presence of great players like John was with Tom Glavine and Greg Maddux, I'll use the example of George Brett. Yes, you're in the major leagues. Yes, you can play with George Brett. Were you ever intimidated by the talent of a player like George Brett in your era? Does that even factor into another player's mind?
No, it's not intimidation at all. It's respect, and boy, it's what does he do that works so well for him, and what does he do that might help me? You know, just watching him. And that's why I would always ask guys about just such things.
Hit hard to right. Markakis on the run near the wall, makes the play. Ahmed flies out.
But John said something about Greg a minute ago that was so wonderful. He said he could throw harder, but it wouldn't be better. That was outstanding.
What a pleasure and what a treat it was to see those three men pitching together for as long as they did in the Atlanta Braves organization. And fans, it's time to remind you of our Toyota tweet of the week. The question is, who is your favorite member of the Big Three and why? Tweet your response with the hashtag BravesBig3, and your tweet could appear on Braves Live after the game. I assume that's like picking who's your favorite child.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how that turns out.
Braves with 2 runs, 4 hits lead into the 5th inning. Simmons, Teheran, and Jace Peterson are coming up. That's a little low for Andrelton, who had a hit and scored a run his first time up. That's at the knees. 2 balls at a strike. And now 2-2. It'll be fascinating as this year unfolds and the years to come, how it works out for both the Diamondbacks and the Braves. New leadership in their respective front offices. You know all about John Hart with the Braves. Tony La Russa, whose dream was always to run a big league organization, is doing that for the Diamondbacks as Simmons hits a sinking line drive into right field for a leadoff hit. But these are two very young teams, and they're young in very different ways. We know all about the youth and rotation for the Braves. How about Arizona and their offense?
Arizona's got the youngest position players, and Atlanta's got the youngest pitching staff. And when you add it all up, Braves are 6th on that list overall. D-backs 2nd.
So they'll be looking for pitching. The Braves looking for bats. And Julio Teheran looking for another sacrifice. And he laid down another beauty. Lamb looked to second, has only one play. Boy, is his bunting much improved this year.
He led the team in bunting last year, and he's just gotten better. I mean, he softened this one beautifully. He had Lamb all over him, but no play other than to first base. His 9th of the year.
So let's see if Jace can chase home Simmons and make it at least a 3-0 game. Back-to-back third-inning triples with 2 outs. The reason Atlanta scored a couple of runs. And that's low, ball 1.
Ray had one among others. He had several good starts, but his 4th start with the Diamondbacks was against the Angels in Anaheim. 7 innings of 2-hit shutout ball, and just walked 2 and struck out 3. Won that game 4-1.
Well, he had 2 outs, a man aboard in the 3rd inning. Looked like he was going to be in pretty good shape, but gave up the triple to the left-hand hitting Peterson. Maben followed with a triple himself, and those 2 runs, the only runs allowed tonight. Teheran's thrown a 1-hitter through 5 innings. That caught a corner. It's 1-2.
They've got some pretty good arms in their outfield, especially Inciarte and Wright. And Andrelton, at least on that pitch, had a real short lead at second. He needs to extend that if Ahmed will let him.
2-2.
Nick Ahmed, of course, out of the Braves organization too.
He went over to the Diamondbacks in the Justin Upton deal, and their people were raving about his glove work at shortstop. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And high. 3-2. Bob Brenly's a guy that I respect an awful lot, and he was on the bandwagon saying this guy Ahmed might be among, if not the best defensive shortstop in the league. We know all about Andrelton Simmons and Adeiny Echeverria down in Miami. That's very high praise. And Peterson takes a walk. That's 4 walks for Ray tonight. He'd walked 21 men in 77 innings coming into play tonight.
That was a very good at bat by Jace not to chase.
So 2 on, 1 out. Here's Cameron Maben.
The series out in Arizona, Chip, you might remember the Braves won the first game easily, 8-1. Freddie Freeman a homer, 3 RBIs. Alex Wood 8 innings, a 1-run ball. Game 2. The Diamondbacks won that one 7-6. The Braves had a 6-4 lead late, and Nick Massett and Brandon Kenneth blew it out of the bullpen for the Braves. In Game 3, the Braves led 6-1 after 2 innings, and they led 7-5 after 6 innings, and lost 9-8. Cody Martin and Jim Johnson blew that one. That was a game that Pollock, I think, hit the home run in the swimming pool. Freddie Freeman had 2 homers and 4 RBIs in that game, and A.J. Brzezinski had a pinch hit homer in the 9th inning for the Braves, but it wasn't enough. So Atlanta has played these guys really tough and really should have won all 3 games out there.
But they hit last.
Yes.
In their home park.
Good point.
2 on, 1 out for Cameron Maybin after the meeting. Let's see what Ray has in store for the Braves center fielder. Action has begun in the Diamondbacks bullpen. And that second game was one started by Shelby Miller. Remember, he was all over the place. His mechanics were out of whack from the first pitch. He walked 6 guys. But he only gave up 4 earned runs in 4 1/3 innings. Even count. Andrew Chafin was the man loosening in the Arizona bullpen. Snap throw to first. And a swipe tag just missed Jace Peterson. Goldschmidt missed him by an eyelash.
Great play. Great play. Jace was very lucky. Diamondbacks were thinking about appealing, and Goldschmidt was waving him off, saying, no, I missed him. That's some pretty fancy footwork there for Peterson to save his own bacon.
Two and two.
One of the things about a right-handed first baseman that's not as handy as a left-handed first baseman is like holding a runner on, taking a throw from the pitcher, and then having to reach across to put a tag down. Same thing holds here. Right-handed first baseman, he's got to go back and across, and he can't get there. Right-handed guy could have just thrown his glove back and nailed it.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And downstairs, I really love that super slow-mo camera. That shows you just how athletic a play Goldschmidt had to make that as close as he did. But Peterson clearly safe. And now let's see if the Braves put the runners in motion with a full count. Markakis coming up.
Well, it was executed like the Braves execute those wonderful pickoffs at second base. The timing was just perfect.
Runners hold. Maybin bounces the ball. Ahmed can't keep it on the infield. Here comes Simmons around third. There'll be no throw. An RBI hit for Cameron Maybin. He's got 2 ribbies tonight and 50 for the year. And it's a 3-0 game.
All that effort to hold Andrelton close at second base helped the Braves because Ahmed was helping Owings keep him close. Of course, they're playing for a double play as well, and he's able to pull it in the hole. That's probably an out and an easy ground ball out with no one on base.
Looks like that's the end of the night for Robbie Ray. 4 walks, 6 hits, and 3 runs. The tail of the tape so far, the men aboard belong to him in the Atlanta fifth. 3-0 Atlanta. We're in the Arizona bullpen. We'll tell you about Andrew Chafin next.
Baseball is presented by Georgia Power and your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places.
Well, you'd expect an excellent pitching performance from the Braves on John Smoltz's special night tonight. Julio Teheran is throwing a one-hitter. The Braves have supported him with 3 runs on 6 hits so far, and they're looking for more with the bat of Nick Markakis coming up. Joe, he's our Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot feature.
For left-handed hitters since 2006 against lefty pitchers, only behind Cano and Suzuki. Boy, that good company. And they bring in another lefty to face him. And this guy's been amazing lately. He's got quite a string running. He's a rookie, 5-0, a 2.47 ERA, and a career high 14 straight scoreless innings working. And hitters just 4 for 46 over that stretch. Low 90s fastball, ranges up to about 94. A slider and a rare changeup.
And I've got a stat that'll make us both feel old. Chafin was born in 1990. And here he is. Doesn't seem possible.
Oh.
A run in, 2 on, 1 out. 3-0 Braves lead it, 5th inning. Chafin's out of Kent State. And a veteran of Tommy John surgery. He had that in 2010. And he was a first-round pick in the supplemental round in 2011, despite having the Tommy John. Lives in Wakeman, Ohio. Chafin born in Kettering, Ohio. And a bouncing ball. Goldschmidt short hop, feeds the pitcher. Tough play. And Chafin got to the bag in time for out number 2. Runners move up 90 feet. They're at second and third for Johnny Gomes.
Nice play here on the out. Quick feed to Chafin so he could find the bag. Johnny was out for some extra batting practice today, knowing he was going to get the start. Chance to have some of that work pay off right here. Maybe not.
They'll go lefty-lefty with A.J. Pierzynski. They'll walk Gomes intentionally. Be the 5th walk issued by the Diamondbacks, the first by Chafin.
A.J. came into the game hitting .237 against left-handed pitchers. .310 against right-handers. But if memory serves me, against lefties in this situation, he's pretty aggressive early.
See if he can serve one past the shortstop. And played a couple more for Atlanta. 3 runs are in tonight. And here's AJ's body of work with bases loaded. Just 2 for 6 this year for the Braves, but 8 career grand slams. He was aggressive early in the count, but he popped it into center field, and that is going to retire the side. So Pierzynski and the Braves are done in the 5th, but Atlanta adds an insurance run, and they take a 3-0 lead into the 6th. Fans, secure your seats for opening day in 2016 exclusively through the 2016 opening day 4-game plan. The plan comes with tickets to opening day next year, along with 3 great weekend matchups this year against the Yankees, Mets, and the Cardinals. This is a limited time offer, so get your 2016 opening day 4-game plan at Braves.com/4game today. Thumbs up indeed for the Braves, and Julio Teheran is firing a 1-hitter at the Diamondbacks. And this is Jamie Romack. He pitch hits for Chafin, who issued the intentional walk and got Pierzynski to pop out. Jamie Romack is from London, Canada, and was inducted into the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame.
Is that right?
Yeah. Foul back to the screen. He was originally signed by the Braves. He was a 4th-round pick in 2003.
You know what?
broken hand and was traded to the Pirates for Michael Gonzalez and Brent Lillibridge.
I thought his name sounded familiar to me. He was having a great year in AAA at Reno. Diamondbacks used to have their AAA team at Tucson, but now in Reno, sitting 289 with 33 doubles, 22 homers, and 87 RBIs in 107 games.
Wow. Well, you look back at his transaction list, Joe, and he's a what-if player. And by that I mean, tragically, what if he'd stayed healthy? Fractured left hand, right hand contusion, right elbow surgery, fractured right finger, left wrist contusion. Drafted and signed in 03, got to the big leagues for the first time last year with the Dodgers. And he's going to ground out to third, and that's the first out of the inning. So good for Jamie Romack, a story of persistence. And he's out number one here in the top of the 6th inning. As always, our thanks to our friends at Delta Airlines. Best care in the air. We'll be joining our flight crew on Delta after the game on Sunday, when we'll head to San Diego. And you know, Mac Coney will be in fine form. Mac's birthday is today.
Happy birthday, Mac.
Saw that on his Facebook page today. I think he's lying. He's not 69 years old, is he? Sharply hit and off the glove of Simmons. Ender Inciarte has a 1-out hit, the second of the game for the Diamondbacks.
He's only 69?
Only 69. That's what it said.
Huh. Just about got that one right off the webbing. Every time Pendleton dives now, though, I don't even watch his glove. I watch his right hand to see how his thumb lands.
Still has it taped. Here's A.J. Pollock. In the air to left. Gomes broke back, now in a step or two, makes the play, 2 outs.
Great job by Julio this whole game, but especially in the last 2 or 3 innings of mixing in that off-speed breaking ball. It's been excellent. It's like giving him 2 change-ups, a straight change and the slow curve. Gets him out front. That was kind of a one-handed swing by Pollock.
And now you've got to tangle with Paul Goldschmidt, who's 0 for 2 tonight, 0 for 11 in his career against Tehran. And a pretty pitch has him behind in the count.
Well, Goldschmidt may not seek the limelight. Good for him. But I'm putting him in it because his numbers are just incredible. Like I said, he's the MVP of the season in the National League to this point, in my opinion.
That one got by Przinsky, and into second goes Inciarte. And that's a wild pitch from Tehran. That takes away the force play at second.
Slider. And it's kind of like that ball got by A.J. in Tampa the other night. Kind of a reach for the short hop.
Not A.J.'s best effort there. See if Tehran can pitch around the wild pitch. 1-1 count. Stayed high, 2 balls and a strike.
Only his second wild pitch of the year.
If you lose Goldschmidt, you have to worry about Peralta, who's got 11 homers and waits on deck. Peralta's been red hot too. He's got 14 hits in his last 7 games played.
Still wouldn't throw him a cookie. Wouldn't give him that fastball just for a 3-1 strike.
Slow curve and a beauty. Full count.
Great pitch. Perhaps his best heater of the night, 93. First inning, I don't think he threw one pitch in the 90s.
Addison Reed will be the next Arizona pitcher. And the payoff to Goldschmidt is lined into the gap in left center field. And that's going to score Inciarte the first Arizona run. Goldschmidt doubles with 2 outs. His 84th RBI. And the Diamondbacks now trail 3-1.
It was a fastball, and it looked like a pitch that they made him reach for. Oh, it was up. It was shoulder high. That's why he was able to get it. What a year he's having.
84 ribbies for the Arizona first baseman, 2 ahead of Nolan Arenado of the Rockies.
28 doubles.
Here's Peralta. He struck out and walked. And he couldn't stop his swing. Strike 1.
First career hit for Goldschmidt against Julio.
So he's 1 for 12 now. Peralta's 2 for 4 against Julio. Celebrates his 28th birthday today. They got tied up 0-2. So Julio has reached 100 pitches. Braves bullpen is busy. His spot's due 4th in the bottom of this 6th inning. Popped him up. Nick Markakis comes in, has it measured up, and that retires the side. A run on 2 hits. Julio Teheran enjoys a 3-1 lead.
Outstanding, loved playing for him. Why is it important on this date? Because 2007, he became #1 in ejections, protecting Chipper Jones on a called 3rd strike to keep him in the game. And Bobby, if you're listening, I just want to say thank you for all those times that you protected us as pitchers, as players, and saying things to umpires that we could not say to either save us and keep us in the game or to make our strike zone bigger and make us better and have a chance to win the game. So, again, thank you. And a big day in Braves history. Bobby Cox would finish with 158 ejections. John McGraw, the man he passed, 132.
Yeah, it took Bobby 28 years to do that, Paul. It took John McGraw 44.
Wow.
Or excuse me, 42 years.
That's a good tribute, Paul. And that was big old Ted Barrett, the umpire, that gave him the record.
This is Addison Reed on to pitch the 6th for Arizona. And a ground ball by Adonis to Nick Ahmed at short. And there's the first out. What I thought was always interesting about Bobby Cox, too, Joe, is that the umpires never really took it personally. It was all in a day's work, and they knew exactly what Bobby was doing. And very next day, Bobby'd be out on the dugouts bench smoking a pregame cigar. The umpires would come out, he'd wave to him and go out and big smile on their face and say, hey, how are we doing today? Let's play ball.
It's baseball.
Yeah.
It's next day, new day.
Nick Swisher, the batter. He'll hit left-handed now against Addison Reed. Kind of miss the old rhubarbs. You don't see him much anymore now that replay's in play in Major League Baseball.
I'm not sure which one was slower. Sometimes the replays are pretty fast. Sometimes those arguments weren't. But the good thing about replay is that we're getting the calls right about 99.9% of the time, I would say.
One and one for Swisher, who's 0 for 2 tonight. And that's taken low. 2 balls and a strike.
Addison Reed, another guy that throws hard. Low to mid 90s with a hard slider that you just saw that was a little low.
Reed out of San Diego State University. Teammates there with Steven Strasburg. Big time closer with the White Sox. Saved 32 games in Arizona last year. Full count. Reed's rookie year in 2012 saved 29 games with the White Sox. That's a rookie record for saves. And 40 the next year. Last year won 1, lost 7. And that's fouled off Swisher's lower body. He'll stay alive 3 and 2.
He's 9th in the big leagues, both leagues. Didn't save since 2012. Did that miss the shin guard? He got some of it. That helped. Reed's a big guy, 6'4", 230.
Shift on for Arizona. 3 defenders on the right side of the infield as Swisher awaits a 3-2 pitch. And he'll take a walk. That's 6 walks issued by the Diamondbacks tonight.
Hey, how about that team from South Carolina, Braves country, that advanced to Williamsport, representing the Southeast region in the Little League? That man threw a no-hitter yesterday down at Warner Robins. Chan was over there watching that. I think his name was Alex Edmondson. Congratulations to him and to their team.
Exciting time for those kids. As Andrelton Simmons bats, 1 on, 1 out, and takes outside. Simmons 2 singles, 2 runs scored. I would doubt Swisher would be running, not with the knee problems he's suffered through. He's got a very short lead at first. And Simmons backed away from that pitch. 2 balls, no strikes.
Wellington Castillo, just what the doctor ordered for this Diamondbacks ball club. They traded away Miguel Montero to the Cubs last year, and they've missed him.
And then Gosowich got hurt. They had to scramble and find another catcher. And Castillo's been real good. 2 balls, no strikes for Simmons. And a very late time call.
Nice changeup.
Three balls, 1 strike. Terdoslavich will hit for Tehran. Three and 2. Hamilton's a tough guy to strike out. Let's see if Swisher's running.
I'd only say I kind of doubt it because of his knees. Well, let's see.
He's going. And Simmons strokes it to center. And A.J. Pollock's got it. And Swisher back to first. There's the second out. And Terdoslavich will hit with a man aboard.
And we'll take that as a good sign that Nick felt like going. Terdoslavich had a heck of a game the other night in Tampa on Wednesday night. 2 doubles, an RBI, 2 runs scored. Had an all's well that ends well base running gaff that worked out just fine.
We might have to get the stop Forrest sign for for Joey.
I have to get some pinch runners in there or something. I don't know.
One ball, no strikes. Good outing for Tehran. 6 innings of 1 run, 3 hit ball tonight. 102 pitches. Seven strikeouts, 2 walks.
And no homers again.
One ball, one strike.
Joey's so strong, especially in his lower half. Big, strong guy. The ball, as I said, down in Tampa Bay, it jumps off his bat, especially left-handed.
Here comes the 1-2 pitch.
Driven down the right field line. Fair. That's up against the fence. Joey Turdoslavich with a 2-out double. Swisher had to stop at third.
Another double. I saw Castillo put the sign down for fastball in, and I was thinking to myself, boy, they better go way in if they're going in on him. And they didn't get it far enough in. And he got the hands inside the baseball and barreled up another one. He's doing a great job off the bench.
Maybe he's found a number to his offensive liking. Old number 53.
Yeah.
7 hits for the Braves now. Second and third for Peterson, who has a run-scoring triple tonight.
Anyone else running might have seen a play at the plate. Bo Porter might have tried to steal that run back.
Addison Reed certainly doesn't make it easy on himself. 11 strikes, 8 balls. And some deep counts here in the 6th. Now it's even 1-1.
PNC Bank shows us that was off the plate. That was called a ball earlier tonight.
Swisher at third, Turdoslavich at second. 3-1 Braves. 2 outs in the home 6th. That slicing foul. Hey, great catch on the ricochet down there. Way to go, Mom. Nice job. Same spot. Here it comes.
Here's the catch you were talking about, Chip. Way to go.
In the air towards center. That's going to retire the side. The Braves threaten but cannot add an insurance run, and we head to the 7th, 3-1. Atlanta's in front. This Arizona offense, that's really worthy of our SunTrust Save of the Game feature. He was terrific.
He had all his pitches working tonight too, Chip. That was a big deal. High fastball there in the first inning turned into a strike him out, throw him out double play. Breaking ball had him fishing all night long. A lot of defensive swings like that one. Another good night of work, his 3rd straight, and in line for another win. His ERA over those 3 starts now under 3.
At 2.75 to be exact. And now Tehran will give way to David Ardsma as we get set for inning number 7.
David was in one of the games at Tampa. That was his last outing on the 12th. That would have been Wednesday. 3rd of an inning and a strikeout. Terdoslavich stays in the game to play first.
Wellington Castillo has struck out twice. Had a healthy cut at that pitch.
So here we go again with the Diamondbacks. Just like those last 2 games I told you about earlier, where the Braves led late in the game and the bullpen gave it up. Braves wound up with 2 losses. So hopefully tonight a different story with a different cast of characters down there. Again, only one guy in the bullpen right now that was on the team opening day, and he missed a lot of time, and that was Andrew McCurahan, who got suspended.
I'm just looking through the scorebook of those games June 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in Arizona. The pitchers who pitched for the Braves in relief in that series: Trevor Cahill, no longer with the team; Cody Martin, Nick Massett, Brandon Kinniff, Luis Avilan, Jim Johnson. None of them are with the Braves now. That was 8 weeks ago. Swing and a miss. Bat ends up in the seats, and Castillo has the hat trick. Good start for Ardsma. Castillo strikes out swinging for the 3rd time.
Tell you what, a fan down there behind the Diamondbacks dugout caught this bat after it bounced off the seats. So I'm going to say he was either a baton twirler in a previous life, or a juggler.
So from what we've seen in the last inning, it's apparent that the third base side of the ballpark is the real good hands section of the fan base tonight.
That's what we've noticed.
And the young lady make the catch on the ricochet foul ball. That fan caught the twirling bat. Now the negotiations ensue as to how that fan will keep that souvenir.
He may have to go get it later, but did they swap it out? No.
Went right back in the dugout, huh?
Went back in the dugout?
Yeah, that's what Chan said.
Oh, I'll bet they give him a trade in a minute. Let's hope so.
I can't believe they didn't give him another bat.
Don't panic. You know, we've got a couple innings to go. Don't get riled up.
Oh yeah, you know me. How riled up I get. Strike 3 to Lamb as he's caught looking. There's the second out.
Good pitch here by Dave. Fastball perfectly located. Beautiful.
Here's Owings. Swing and a miss.
Diamondbacks came into this series a respectable 14-16 against the East. The Braves, however, just 9-15 against the Western Division. Good pitch. Sharp breaker.
These guys don't get cheated up there, do they?
No. No, they were 6th in walks, which is pretty good for a team hitting as high as they are.
In the air toward the gap. Maben on the run. Diving catch. A beauty. A 1,000,000-megawatt smile and a glorious catch for Cameron Maben. And that sends us to the stretch in grand fashion.
Manager and all-time and Bobby Cox, but 1991 happened, and not only did this city respond with the greatest fans and the absolute most incredible adrenaline I'm supposed to be neutral in the new job that I have as broadcasting, so I'll be professional and be neutral. But in my heart, I root like heck for these current Braves and the future Braves to bring in more championships to this city.
Only fitting on a night that honors John Smoltz that the Braves play like the good old days tonight. Pitching, hitting, great defense, and winning 3-1 over the Diamondbacks.
Cameron can cover a lot of ground, but I didn't think he was going to get to that one.
Man, what a catch. He robbed Owings of a base hit, and Maben's had a good night. He's been on base 3 times. And that's a strike. Pirates and Mets go to the 10th inning. That one's tied 1 apiece at Citi Field.
That'll be a good series, won't it?
Should be. Pittsburgh disappointed after a downer series against the Cardinals. The Pirates, the top wild card team in the National League. The Cubs, though, only a game and a half behind them for the top wild card spot.
I'm not sure, but I think the White Sox led that game against the Cubs 5-0. I'm pretty sure that was the score, and the Cubs came back to win it.
You know, I was thinking about this earlier today. I think the Cubs would be a really useful template for the Braves to try to follow in this regard. We know the retooling, rebuilding that's going on now. I really hope that the Braves try to add players, gain momentum, start to play like the Cubs are doing after the break this year, and do the same thing next year so that they build momentum going into the new ballpark in 2017. I mean, right now, the Cubs, a team no one wants to play, with Lester and Arrieta at the top of their order, and all those young hitters are hitting. Cubs have taken Starlin Castro out of the lineup. Russell's playing short, Coughlin's playing second, and Kyle Schwarber's playing in left field or behind the plate virtually every day. Shot toward Goldschmidt. Good play. Good result for the D-backs. 2 out.
And it was not 5-0, but the White Sox did lead 5-4. Chris Coughlin hit 2 homers. He's having a great return to the ability we saw several years ago with the Marlins.
And we mentioned the Cubs because we'll see them at the end of our upcoming road trip. It starts in San Diego, then 4 games at the corner of Clark and Addison starting next Thursday. Michael Bourne gets a chance to bat tonight. He'll hit for Johnny Gomes. And we talked about it a lot down in Tampa Bay. This man needs a little hitting luck. He has stung the ball several times and has only 1 hit to show for it as a Brave.
I walked into the stadium with him today, and I said the same thing to him, that he needed a rabbit's foot or something like that in his pocket, and he just laughed. And he said, yeah, all you can do is just keep swinging.
One and 2. Toronto's up for their final at bat in the 9th inning, losing to the Yankees tonight. That's 4-3. Bouncing ball foul. The Jays swept the Yankees last weekend. New York tries to return the favor beginning tonight. Toronto with a half-game lead over the Yankees in the AL East, and their 11-game winning streak is on the line tonight. What a story Toronto has been. Sharply hit. Out to second. Owings has it, and Reed has a crisp 1-2-3. Bottom of the 7th. Off we go to the 8th. It's 3-1 Atlanta in front. Celebration of 50 years in Atlanta. We want you to help select the most memorable moment in Atlanta Braves history. Go to Braves.com/A50 today and vote on the current matchup. Dale Murphy's back-to-back MVPs in 1982 and 1983 versus the best Andrelton Simmons moments over the last few years. Go to Braves.com/A50 to relive your favorite Atlanta Braves moments. Michael Bourne checks in for Johnny Gomes. He'll play left. And our game moves to inning number 8. David Arnsma on to pitch a second inning tonight. He got the D-backs 1-2-3 in the 7th. That great catch by Cameron Maben ended the last inning.
Yeah, and he did it on 12 pitches. That's another reason to send him back out there for another inning.
Nick Ahmed hitting .221. I think that's the real question about the Arizona shortstop. They love the glove. Can he hit enough to stick in the big leagues? A lifetime 200 major league hitter. That one sharply stung towards center. Maben back, has room, and has the ball, 1 out.
Well, that's one thing he can't do. He can't try to hit the ball in the ballpark. I mean, that ball was hit well, but he's got to be a line drive ground ball guy. Hit .312 last year in AAA with 4 homers, and then got called up to the big league club and hit .300 over 70 at bats. Braves drafted him in the 2nd round in 2011 out of the University of Connecticut. But he can pick it.
Aaron Hill, the batter. He's at .230 with 5 homers. And that was a good trade for the Braves. Obviously, they got Justin Upton in return, and they knew with Andrelton Simmons at shortstop, very little chance for Ahmed to play that position here with the Braves. So he got a fresh start in the desert. And he's doing good defensive work. Hill pops it out of play, foul, 1 ball, 1 strike. Pittsburgh's taken a 2-1 lead over the Mets in the 10th. They have 2 on and nobody out at Citi Field. The Giants host Washington. That game starts in about 10 minutes. Scherzer and Kane, the starting pitchers. Hill hits it hard to right. Markakis on the run. Got there near the line. Sharply hit. Good running catch. Well, the Braves having a good night defensively. 2 out.
Braves are about in the middle of the pack in the league, maybe just below the middle of the pack defensively. And it's funny, this team goes in stretches where they don't make an error for, 8, 10, 12 games, and then all of a sudden they make them in bunches. Talking about the Braves. That defensive outfield right now, pretty salty.
Yeah, 2 center fielders and Markakis.
Yeah.
As Inciarte takes a strike. Once again, the Diamondbacks trying to get back to 500. They've been down this road a time or 2 this year.
What we hear today, they were like 1-14 or 0-14 in games that would get them to 500.
Then they won 1, and then it's like 0-7 since, or 1-7 since, some crazy thing like that. They just have not been able to get to 500, stay there, and build on that, which is sure frustrating for Paul Goldschmidt and company. 1 ball, 2 strikes. But for a team that had as rough a year as the Diamondbacks did last year, to be a 500 club is a nice improvement from year to year. They've made nice progress this season.
Absolutely.
Last year the Diamondbacks were 64-98. They finished 30 games out of first place.
And they had to hustle to do that. Their last 16 games, when they're exactly 1 game under 500, they're actually 2-2 in their last 4. but they were 0 for 12 in their previous 12. So we weren't too far off. Thanks, Jan.
2 balls, 2 strikes. To play foul. Toronto has action in the 9th inning. 2 on, 1 out, trailing the Yankees 4-3.
They're never out of a game.
No. And we will see the Blue Jays. Toronto's going to come to Atlanta. We will see them September 15th, 16th, and 17th. We also have the Yankees coming in on the 28th, 29th, and 30th of August. Maven can't get that one, and Ciarte is on his way to second. He hustles in with a double. The throw off target, backed up by Aardsma. And it's a big play in the game. It brings the potential tying run to the plate against Aardsma with 2 outs.
It's a big play in this regard, too, that Goldschmidt's only 1 guy away. Left that one up, let her high. And Ciarte has his 2nd hit of the night to go with a walk. So this becomes a huge at bat in the game. And A.J. Pollock 0 for 3, but he was 11 for his last 25 coming in. Do not want to face Goldschmidt this inning. Get Pollock and have Goldschmidt lead off the next inning.
AJ didn't catch that. It ends up on the back of the screen. That was odd. Was that a cross up? That's ruled a pass ball. I don't know what in the world happened to Przinski on that play. He looked lucky to get leather on it.
I think it hit the umpire too. Yep, glove and mask. One of those where his glove might have gotten right in front of his face and he couldn't see exactly where the ball was going to be into his glove.
A passed ball puts the runner at third base. 1 ball, no strikes. And that's headed for the upper deck.
How about a nice sacrifice fly right here?
Perfect. 14 pitches this inning for Aardsma. Got the first 2 hitters with relative ease. And Ciarte fought for a double. Took third on a pass ball. And now a 1-1 count for Pollock. That's taken high. 2-1.
Interesting option there, showing bunt, because Pollock knows that if he gets on, that means Goldschmidt's coming up.
Line drive center, but Maven can't get there. It's a 2-out hit. And Arizona has closed the gap to 1 run. It's now 3-2, and the Braves do have to face Goldschmidt with a man aboard in the 8th inning.
Deja vu all over again. Fastball, inner third. 50th RBI for Pollock.
So it's Arizona's turn with some 2-out magic. Both of their runs have been brought in with 2-out hits. And the entire infield gathers on the mound with Roger McDowell, the Braves pitching coach.
Braves had Brigham and Detweiler in the bullpen.
So here's Goldschmidt. His 84th RBI, scored the first Arizona run. That came in the 6th inning. Got to keep an eye on Pollock. He's got 27 stolen bases. And strike one. Good stop. Runner goes. Swing and a miss. No chance at all for Brzezinski, and Pollock has his 28th steal. But Artsma's ahead of Goldschmidt. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, let's see how they work him. See if they can get him to chase outside. Remember, he tomahawked a pitch from Julio for an RBI hit his last time up. That was a double.
This would be a great time for Goldschmidt to register his 100th strikeout.
Well, you hate to have him get a chance, numbers like that, to beat you. In this case, tie you, or if you hit one out, it would be to go ahead, especially with the base open. But he does represent the go ahead run. It's just a matter of who do you feel more comfortable with, he or Peralta.
That nearly clipped him on the left arm. Full count. Peralta's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. He's on deck.
I believe it was a 3-2 count that he hit for a double, because we were talking about don't give in, don't give him a fastball cookie, and he got a high fastball.
So the payoff from Artsma, here it is, and he chased. That ball was inside. It almost hit him, and he fouled it off his foot.
Front door slider.
Ooh.
Probably ball 4. Definitely a bruise.
Pollock, the tying run at second. 2 outs. And here it is. Ground ball short. Simmons backhand. Loads up. Throws a strike to first. And the inning is over. That's who you want the ball hit to. And Andrelton Simmons takes care of Goldschmidt and the Diamondbacks, who draw a run closer. We head to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's a 1-run game. Braves 3, Diamondbacks 2. 8th inning. Time for our AT&T U-verse trivia question. Over the last 4 years, Paul Goldschmidt's one of 3 players with 300 or more walks and 90 or more homers. Can you name the other 2 players that have done that?
I'm going to say David Ortiz.
Okay.
And Albert Pujols.
All right, I'll stay with Ortiz, but I'm going to say Jose Bautista.
Good one.
Or Toronto.
Oh, you got one right. Way to go. Mike Trout. Man. I didn't think he'd been around long enough to do all that kind of damage.
Pretty scary.
But he's pretty good, isn't he?
Yeah, he's real good.
This guy is too.
What a great story Daniel Hudson has been. Brandon Beachy and Chris Medlin hope they are following his career arc. Hudson's come back from 2 Tommy John surgeries. 2 of them.
Still throwing hard. 94 to 97. Slider and a changeup. That was 95.
1 ball, 1 strike for A.J. Pierzynski. Yankees held on, beat Toronto tonight 4-3. Pittsburgh leads the Mets 3-1 now, bottom 10 in New York. Here it's 3-2 Braves, game 1 against the Diamondbacks. Fly ball center. Pollock retreats a step or 2 and has room. 1 out. Looking ahead to the Arizona 9th, Peralta, Castillo, and Lamb are the scheduled hitters. And they will face Arodys Vizcaíno, who's begun to loosen up. David Ardsma, 2 innings, 2 hits, 1 run unearned.
How is it unearned?
I guess they're saying the pass ball.
Well, but the guy was at second base with 2 outs. You're trying to tell me that the Inciarte, a fast runner, wasn't going to score on a base hit? Come on.
Garcia grounds to Ahmed at short. And Goldschmidt stretches out, makes the play.
Hey, that's good for David.
Right.
You know, forget it.
And Pedro Siriaco will be the Atlanta pinch hitter. Siriaco hits for Ardsma in the 8th.
Boy, did he have a good game in Tampa Bay the other night. Game the Braves seemingly had and lost. But Siriaco, 2 for 3, a homer, 4 RBIs. What a night he had starting at short.
And he's done excellent work as a pinch hitter for the Braves this year. Let's see if he can put a charge into a ball against Hudson. Pedro in a pinch is 9 for 29 with 5 RBIs. And that's low and outside, ball 1. Swing and a miss.
Boy, good breaking ball.
Washington has a first inning run with nobody out in San Francisco, as you see the Hudson pitch. Kind of how the game started last night. Escobar hit a leadoff homer and they didn't score again. One ball, 1 strike. Off the plate, 2-1. Boston winning big tonight, 15-1 over Seattle. And that might be an inspirational win for their manager, John Farrell. It was brought to light tonight that John Farrell suffering from lymphoma.
Yeah, that's awful news. Wish him the best. Good person.
2-1 pitch is out of play. So fans were asking us, did that fan get the bat that Castillo lost in the stands? No, but he got an autographed baseball.
He got a bat too.
He did?
Yes. Chan saw it. I watched him walk him up the aisle to security with the bat. So he got a bat and a ball. They're probably just holding the bat till the game's over.
The game's over. Okay. Siriaco reaches out, pokes one into shallow center field for a 2-out hit.
More good work by Pedro. Boy, an extra run here would be huge.
So did Castillo sign the ball, or was it Jamie Romack or something? How does that work?
Well, I know, but I'm just not going to tell you.
Okay. You don't want to get me riled up. Here's Simmons. 2 hits, 2 runs tonight. And again, Mike Harkey out for a chat with Hudson. Hudson's coming back from Tommy John. Patrick Corbin's coming back from Tommy John. We'll see him pitch here tomorrow night. And as we mentioned earlier in the ball game, Arizona is really looking to add pitching to this very hitter-friendly organization right now. Anytime you see these guys come back from that severe elbow surgery, you root for them in a way. And Hudson, the longest tenured member of the Diamondbacks, in his 4th full season here. And he was terrific in 2011. He was 16-12 after coming over from the White Sox in 2010, where he went 7-1 with the Diamondbacks. Then he got hurt. Tore the ligament in February of 2013. Tore it again in March of 2014. Well, that's just heartbreaking.
I mean, he had just completed the rehab on it the first time.
First pitch for Simmons. I mean, Hudson was a big time prospect with the White Sox. Arizona traded Edwin Jackson for Daniel Hudson and David Holmberg, a left-handed pitcher. Hudson out of Old Dominion University. And a good pitch, even count. Pitched in 3 games last year for the Diamondbacks. 2 2/3 innings.
Well, he's definitely got the velocity back. Just the command that he's got to work on. Got 20 walks in a little over 40 innings.
Bounce towards short. Ahmed charged and made a nice play. And off we go to inning number 9. Vizcaíno is on to try to save it for the Braves. He's got a 1-run lead. He's the subject of our Yellowwood Bringing the Lumber.
Quite a night for Cameron Maybin. Big triple that had followed a Jace Peterson triple that drove in a run, and then how about this catch? Great diving catch to Rob Owings of a base hit, possible extra bases. That was in the 7th inning.
So into the fray comes Arodys Vizcaino, 2 for 2 in saves, Joe, and throwing lots and lots of strikes.
He has been, and one of his 2 saves so far has been a 1-run save. That was against Miami. So no room for error tonight, and he faces Peralta, Castillo, and Lamb. He's got a good string working of shutout innings pitched, and in fact, out of his 16 appearances, 15 have been scoreless. And he's got a streak of 9 2/3 working.
Peralta 0 for 2 with a walk. Bounced off the plate. Peterson charges, tricky spin, throws to first, and made a great play, and Peralta tripped over the bag. Let's see if he's all right. Wow, what a tough play, and a bullet to first for the first out.
More good defense. This time by Peterson on a very tough chopper. He gloved it and made an accurate throw over there to Joey T from short range. That's the second guy in a week that's kicked Turdoslavich on the way by. Bohr was the other guy for Miami.
1 pitch, 1 out. Castillo has struck out 3 times tonight. Strike outside corner.
There's a guy sitting on the third baseline saying, you know, he's using my bat. Good pitch. PNC Bank shows us.
In the air to center. Maybin on the run. Still going onto the track. Has room. In Phoenix, that would have been trouble. Maybin tracked it down a few strides shy of the fence. 2 out.
One more to get.
And it's Jake Lamb, who's doubled and struck out twice. $31,917 paid tonight. 31917. There'll be fireworks after the game, which we hope will come in just a few moments. An electric fastball. Lamb missed it. Even count. Now the Braves are a strike away. It's 2-2.
.98 on that last pitch from Vizcaino.
There you go. Yeah, that's your ball game. Vizcaino takes care of Lamb. A 3-up, 3-down, top of the 9th inning. And the Braves beat the Diamondbacks 3-2. What a night tonight for Cameron Maybin and the Braves pitching staff to calm down this red-hot Arizona offense. A club that was averaging 9 runs a game. 2 runs, 5 hits was all the Diamondbacks could muster in Game 1 of the series. Great night for the Braves. They win it 3-2. We'll recap it for you right after this.